DK Metcalf has been in the NFL for 4 years and just signed a 3-year, $72 million contract extension with the Seattle Seahawks.
I remember texting my agent like, who is Uncle Sam? Like, where he come from?
But he's learned a lot in his career, and his relationship with money has changed from when he was first drafted as a 21-year-old. DK sat down with us to explain his journey from football player to businessman, along with his financial advisor, Joe McClean, a former athlete himself. What is the first thing you see that some mistakes they could make or that you want them to stay away from?
First of all, it's understanding that most of the athletes, the dream was to get on the field, have the shield on your uniform and make it all the way there. You don't necessarily grow up with paychecks on your wall. You grow up with posters of the people you aspire to be. So the fact that the money now comes with the success of what you did on the field is something that you don't really think about going into it. So then it's thinking about what were those fundamentals you did in life to make you successful on the field. What are those fundamentals now we now have to address, off the field?
So how has your relationship with investing changed since your first year in the league to now?
I would say I'm just more educated in the realm of investing. With Joe, it's like, okay, he sends me a deck and I have to really read it and educate myself on what I'm investing. Saving 80% net of my taxes and then, investing some of that and then a long-term goal of what do I want to see myself doing after football.
What are those investments that he sent you that you got really excited about?
He sent me a wine investment one day. And I mean, that just goes back to one of my passions. I call myself a wine connoisseur, but
don't we all?
just him sending me that is like, okay, he knows me, he understands me, he sees me more than just an athlete. Like, he knows my passions.
What are some of those things that you see a lot of athletes start to invest in that you think is genuinely a good investment?
Using wine as an example, and early on, one of my philosophies was if you drink it, drive it, wear it, or eat it, we don't invest in it. Because that there's a lot of pitfalls that come in that side of it. Young people, as they're looking to invest for the very beginning, is thinking about the different buckets that you could live in. He knows he's got 80% of his money being saved net of taxes. It's going into a safety and security bucket that eventually is going to go into the second bucket, which is a growth bucket that is very boring, disciplined, dividend income producing real estate. And if you fill the security bucket and the growth bucket that you'll live off of in the future, then you can have your entrepreneurial spirits and really dig into that. And wine would be in that bucket in terms of where you want to take that, so that even if certain things don't work out long term, you still have the other two buckets.
When were you like, I need to make more than this, I want to be an entrepreneur? When did that start for you?
It was 2 years ago when I ran in a track meet, and I seen how everybody after the track meet was like, thank you for bringing so many eyes to the sport. And I'm like, okay, if I can do this with track, then my name carries some weight. So why not just capitalize off of that right now while I'm still playing?
What is your advice to them about how it goes into their career, how it goes into their business?
I think some of the processes that you take on now is, how do I be the best teammate? How do I be a leader in the locker room? And then how do I translate that to what you want to accomplish, meaning how do I build that locker room in life? But if you can form that now, it's a natural transition from when you're playing to when now you're performing in business and in Hollywood and all the other endeavors he wants to do.
What is that relationship like with your teammates?
My first day in the locker room, I met 3 people: Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner, and Dwayne Brown. All of them, all pros. I want to be where they're at. So when a rookie walks into the locker room, that's my goal, is they come up to me and start asking questions. Last year was the first time that happened with me with Ken Walker. His locker's right beside mine, so he would ask me financial questions, and he looks at me like a big brother. For me to be able to give him a well thought out answer and not just me feel like I'm telling him what to do, but I'm educating him at the same time.
What are some of those questions, some of those good, genuine feedback that you have, that lessons that you've learned that you pass on?
All right, so after I was paying my rent in Seattle for my birthday, I bought myself a car, but I was also paying somebody else's mortgage at the same time. He's in the same exact situations to where he wants a new car. I'm like, bro, you just got a new car. You don't need another car. If you want to invest in something, invest in real estate or invest in a house to where you're paying yourself basically, and it's something that you own. And when you buy another car, it depreciates as soon as you drive it off the lot. So It's just thinking long term.
What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned?
Always try to be an owner so you can have a seat at the table, so you can make decisions, and so you can show people that you're more than just an athlete, and carving out your own path to where other people behind you can follow and be like, oh, I want to be like DK.
And so have you sat at some of those tables? Like, what have you absorbed from being in the room instead of just being the face?
That people really value your opinion. Once I got the seat at the table and people really started to listen, a switch flipped in me like, okay, you're not just an athlete, you can be an enterprise. I can have my own business and partner with other people and not just be the second or third seat at the table.
Wave a magic wand. 10 years after you're done playing, what are you doing?
Sitting beside Joe in a business meeting, about to close a multi-million-dollar deal on a team or something like that. Instead of my financial advisor, like, this is my business partner. I definitely want to be a team owner one day.
DK, thanks so much. Joe, thanks so much for your guys' time.
Thank you.